It usually starts quietly. You're not sick, you're not in pain, but something feels off. A little more bloating after dinner. A heaviness that wasn't there before. You eat what you've always eaten, but it no longer feels the same. Food sits longer. Energy fades sooner. Maybe sleep feels less restful. Maybe your appetite changes without warning. And so begins the quiet shift in digestion that happens to many of us after 60. Not because we did something wrong, but because the body softly, slowly begins to respond differently. The stomach produces less acid. The gut lining becomes more sensitive. The muscles that move food through the system aren't quite as strong. And the foods that once felt harmless or even healthy suddenly start working against us. You might chalk it up to stress or age, or say, it's just my new normal. But here's what's quietly alarming. Certain foods can accelerate this decline. Not fast, not dramatically, but consistently, meal after meal, creating low-grade inflammation, gas, discomfort, and eventually nutritional deficiencies. And many of these foods are ones we've been told are fine, even good. They hide in daily routines. They carry labels like light, digestible, or healthy. But for an aging digestive system, they can feel like sandpaper, irritating the lining, disrupting the rhythm, slowing everything down. That's why doctors are starting to speak up, not to scare, but to help us become aware. Because awareness gives us options, and options restore power. Today, we're going to walk through 5 surprising foods that may be quietly sabotaging your digestion after 60, and what you can do instead. This won't be about restriction. It won't be about never eating something again. It's about understanding which foods create strain and learning gentle swaps that support your gut, not fight it. You might recognize yourself in some of these. You might find that a small shift changes everything. Less bloating, more regularity, easier mornings, steadier energy. Because when digestion works, everything works better. And when it slows down, even slightly, you feel it everywhere. In your sleep, your skin, your clarity, your mood. We'll start with a food that seems harmless, even light. It's in every diner menu, on every shelf, often paired with soup or toast. But for older adults, it's often the quiet start of digestive chaos. Let's talk about white bread and how something so soft can be so disruptive to a body that now needs support, not strain. It's soft, familiar, toasts quickly, melts under butter. White bread has been a staple in American kitchens for decades. It's comforting, uncomplicated. It holds peanut butter, egg salad, jelly, turkey, cheese. And for many older adults, it feels like a gentle choice, something the stomach can handle. But here's the quiet truth. White bread is one of the most disruptive foods for senior digestion. Not because it's heavy, but because it's empty. White bread is made from refined flour, a product that's been stripped of its fiber, its natural oils, its minerals. What's left is a soft, starchy substance that moves through the digestive system quickly, or not at all. Without fiber, white bread slows motility. It sits in the gut without stimulating peristalsis, the wave-like movement your intestines use to keep things flowing. The result? Bloating, irregularity, a sense of fullness without nourishment. For a system already working at a slower pace, white bread can feel like glue. And it's not just the texture. Refined flour causes a rapid rise in blood sugar. That spike leads to an insulin response, which often leads to a crash. And when that cycle repeats, your energy drops, your cravings rise, and your digestion never finds its balance. Mary, 71, said she ate white toast with butter every morning for years. I thought it was easy on the stomach, she told me. But by 10 a.m., I felt heavy, sluggish, like nothing had moved. Her doctor suggested a small change, switch to sprouted grain bread. Not just whole wheat, sprouted. The difference? Sprouted breads contain enzymes that help break down the grains naturally. They're easier to digest. They support gut health. And they're full of fiber and nutrients that white bread lacks. Within 2 weeks, Mary noticed a difference. My belly felt flatter. I had energy between meals. I stopped skipping lunch because I wasn't weighed down anymore. The shift wasn't dramatic. It was gentle, and that's the key. You don't need to cut all bread. You don't need to fear toast. But choosing breads that support digestion, ones with seeds, grains, and intact fiber, can make a world of difference for a gut that no longer has the enzymes or speed it once did. Try sourdough made from whole grain, rye, sprouted grain toast, even pita or flatbreads made from legumes or oats. They have texture, life, integrity, and they ask your body to engage, not just receive. Because food isn't just about ease, it's about function. And white bread, for all its softness, often leaves the system more burdened than soothed. The next food on our list falls into a similar trap. It looks light, feels refreshing, appears healthy, but for aging digestion, it often causes more harm than good. Let's turn to raw vegetables, and why even a simple salad can cause unexpected discomfort if you're not careful. A crisp salad, cold cucumbers, shredded carrots, a pile of raw spinach under grilled chicken. It sounds like the picture of health. And for many years, it probably felt that way too. But somewhere along the way, maybe after 60, maybe after 70, you start to notice something. The salad that once made you feel light now leaves you bloated, gassy, uncomfortable. You chew, you swallow, but the food lingers. The body doesn't feel nourished. It feels tight, inflated, and vaguely unsettled. This is the quiet betrayal of raw vegetables. Not because they're bad, but because as we age, our ability to digest them changes. The enzymes that break down tough plant fibers, cellulose, and lignin decline. The stomach acid that once helped soften raw vegetables before they hit the small intestine is weaker. And the chewing, especially if your dental health has changed, isn't always enough to fully prepare raw foods for the journey ahead. The result? Fermentation, gas, discomfort, and sometimes a sneaky kind of constipation, where the system slows down without warning, even though you're eating what everyone says is healthy. But here's the truth. Healthy doesn't always mean helpful. And raw veggies, while rich in fiber and micronutrients, can become harsh on an aging gut. That doesn't mean giving up greens. It means changing the form. Instead of cold salads, try lightly sautéed spinach with olive oil. Instead of raw carrots, try roasting them until they caramelize, soft and warm. Instead of a pile of cold broccoli, steam it until the stalks give gently under the fork. Heat begins the digestion process before the food even reaches your stomach. It breaks down the fibers, releases nutrients, turns something hard into something the body can actually use. And it doesn't have to mean mush. Gentle cooking preserves flavor. You can add garlic, herbs, lemon. You can blend vegetables into warm soups, purees, or stews. What matters is that the body is supported, not tested. Sam, 76, said he used to eat raw kale every day. I thought it was cleansing, he told me, but it felt like my belly was always fighting back. Now he cooks his greens, adds a spoon of broth, a bit of acid, and suddenly my stomach isn't a battlefield anymore. You don't need to stop eating plants. You need to meet them where your body is now. Softer, warmer, slower. Digestion, after all, isn't just chemistry. It's relationship. And the more you respect your body's limits, the more it begins to trust the process again. The next food, we'll talk about, lives on many breakfast tables. It comes in pretty packaging. It promises energy and comfort. But inside, it often delivers disruption, especially for an older gut. Let's take a closer look at processed cereals and why your morning bowl might be quietly draining your digestion. It's easy. It's quick. You pour, you crunch, you go. Cereal has been a go-to breakfast for generations, especially as we get older and want something simple in the morning. It feels harmless, familiar. Some boxes even say heart healthy or light and easy to digest. But the truth hiding behind the cheerful packaging is this. Most processed cereals are terrible for senior digestion. Not because they're heavy, but because they're hollow, packed with refined grains, added sugars, artificial flavors, and stabilizers. They create a sharp spike in blood sugar, offer little actual fiber, and leave the digestive system guessing. That sugary jolt might feel like energy at first, but it's short-lived. By mid-morning, the crash arrives. And beneath it all, the gut is struggling to find rhythm. Processed cereals digest too fast. They don't give the intestines anything to hold on to. And over time, they can weaken the diversity of gut bacteria, the very ecosystem that keeps your digestion stable, your immune system strong, and your inflammation low. Even the so-called high-fiber options can be misleading. Many contain synthetic fibers or compounds like inulin, which can ferment quickly and cause bloating or discomfort in sensitive systems. And if you add cold milk to that mix, especially if lactose is no longer your friend, you've now layered multiple irritants into what was supposed to be the easiest meal of the day. But the solution isn't to skip breakfast. It's to change the story of breakfast. Something warm, gently cooked, and balanced can reset your entire morning. Think slow-cooked oats with a sprinkle of cinnamon and chopped nuts. Think quinoa porridge with almond milk and blueberries. Even a simple scrambled egg on a slice of sprouted grain toast can feel grounding, satisfying, and supportive. These meals offer natural fiber, protein, and healthy fats, all of which help regulate digestion and blood sugar without the roller coaster. And the warmth? That alone signals comfort to your gut. Digestive enzymes activate more easily. The stomach relaxes. The intestines wake up. Martha, 68, said she used to eat bran flakes every morning for digestive health, but she often felt bloated by noon. I thought it was just my age, she said. When she switched to warm porridge with flaxseed and a drizzle of olive oil, her mornings changed. I felt full longer. My stomach didn't rebel. I started looking forward to breakfast again. That's the key. Food should not feel like something you survive. It should feel like something that carries you. And for the digestive system, especially one that's adapting to a slower pace, how food arrives matters just as much as what it contains. The next food will look at hides in places you don't expect. It's something you reach for when you're being careful, when you want something light. But in reality, it often disrupts the very balance it promises to protect. Let's talk about artificial sweeteners and the hidden chaos they can cause inside an aging gut. They promise to help. Lower your sugar. Watch your weight. Be smart about sweets. Artificial sweeteners have been sold for decades as a healthier alternative, especially for those watching their blood sugar or managing chronic conditions. A pink packet, a blue one, a yellow drop into your tea. It feels responsible, clean. But for an aging digestive system, artificial sweeteners can be quietly disruptive in ways most people never realize. The trouble doesn't always show up right away. You don't eat them and feel sick. They don't feel heavy like fast food. They dissolve quickly, taste familiar, and give you that sweet fix without the calories. But inside the body, especially inside the gut, the story is different. Artificial sweeteners, particularly sucralose, aspartame, and saccharin, can alter the microbiome, that delicate ecosystem of bacteria that regulates digestion, mood, immunity, and inflammation. These sweeteners may reduce the diversity of gut bacteria, feeding certain strains while suppressing others. Over time, that imbalance can lead to bloating, irregularity, increased sensitivity to real sugar, and even trouble absorbing nutrients. And there's another layer, the nervous system. For some people, artificial sweeteners confuse the brain. You taste sweet, but no real energy follows. The body prepares for calories, digestion kicks into gear, and nothing arrives. This mismatch can lead to cravings, fatigue, and more strain on the gut. Clara, 74, said she switched to diet soda in her 60s. I was trying to be smart, she told me, but I noticed more gas, more tightness in my belly, and it didn't go away. Her doctor suggested cutting back, not completely, just for a few weeks. She did. The difference was real. I didn't know how much it was affecting me until I stopped. The point isn't to fear sweetness. It's to recognize the difference between sweetness that nourishes and sweetness that disorients. So what are your options? Real food, natural sweeteners in small amounts, a touch of raw honey in tea, a few dates blended into oatmeal, ripe fruit, cooked or fresh. Even maple syrup used sparingly can be easier for the body to process than a synthetic lab-made packet. And over time, your taste buds adapt. What once felt not sweet enough becomes plenty. What once required a strong hit of sugar becomes balanced, soft, even satisfying. This is part of the digestive journey after 60. Recalibrating what feels good, what feels true, what actually supports the system, rather than mimicking that support. The next and final food we'll explore is one that many consider comforting, even essential. It's warm, creamy, familiar, but for a large portion of older adults, it can be the source of lingering discomfort, gas, and unpredictable digestion. And the frustrating part? Most don't even realize it's the culprit. Let's take a closer look at dairy and how even a splash of milk might be more than your gut wants to handle. It's in your coffee, your oatmeal, your mashed potatoes, your comfort food. Dairy has long been a symbol of nourishment, creamy, familiar, warm. A glass of milk before bed, a slice of cheese in your sandwich, a cup of yogurt for breakfast. It feels like something that supports you. But here's what many don't know. As we age, our ability to digest dairy often declines, and we rarely realize it. The problem isn't always dramatic. You might not get cramps or run to the bathroom, but over time, the signs begin to show: bloating after breakfast, a foggy feeling mid-morning, congestion, heartburn, or that soft swelling in the belly that makes you feel heavy even when you haven't overeaten. That's because after age 50 or 60, the body begins to produce less lactase, the enzyme that breaks down lactose, the natural sugar found in milk. Without enough lactase, digestion slows, gas forms, inflammation increases, and the gut, already more sensitive with age, becomes irritated. The challenge is that dairy doesn't feel like an obvious trigger. It's not greasy, it's not spicy, it's not fast food, but for many people over 60, it's one of the most common culprits behind digestive discomfort, especially when combined with other hard-to-digest foods. That morning bowl of cereal with milk? Now you're getting refined carbs and lactose. That creamy pasta dish for dinner? You've layered gluten, fat, and dairy on top of each other. And the gut, quiet as it is, begins to push back. But the good news is, you don't have to cut out all dairy forever. You just need to listen, to experiment. Start by removing dairy for a week or two. Watch how your body responds. Your digestion, your energy, even your skin and sinuses. Many people notice the change quickly. A lighter belly, less congestion, fewer gas pains. And if you do miss the texture, the comfort, the flavor, there are gentle alternatives that won't make your system work so hard. Try unsweetened almond or oat milk in your tea, cashew cream in your soup, coconut yogurt with berries, or aged cheeses like Parmesan or goat cheese, which are naturally lower in lactose and often easier to digest. Lisa, 70, said she resisted giving up milk for years. "I just didn't want to be one of those people with food rules," she told me. But after cutting dairy for 2 weeks, she noticed something that surprised her. "I didn't know how heavy I'd been feeling until the weight lifted." That's what this is really about. Not rules, not fear, but relief. Giving your body less to fight. Giving your digestion more space to breathe. So let's return to where we began. Digestion after 60 is different. Not worse, not broken, just more sensitive, more selective. And the foods you once trusted, white bread, raw vegetables, processed cereal, artificial sweeteners, dairy, might now be the very things clouding your clarity, your comfort, your day. You don't have to eliminate everything at once, but awareness is power. And the moment you notice how your body truly feels, not just how it reacts, but how it recovers, you can start building a way of eating that supports you fully, gently, honestly, and with deep respect for everything your system has already carried. Thank you for being here. Let us know in the comments if you recognized any of these foods in your own day and what swaps have worked for you. Like this video, subscribe to our channel, and join us again soon for more gentle, grounded ways to feel better, one meal at a time.